Hey, how you doing, everybody? I'm Stephen Kirk, and before we get started, I just want to take a second to say thanks. I appreciate the opportunity to throw my captain's quarters into the mix for Bill's Fan Cave makeover. Now, a little bit about me and Star Trek. I have been a Star Trek fan, a Trekkie, mind you, never a Trekker, always a Trekkie. I've been a Star Trek fan since 1969. I mean, seriously, one of my original first memories of watching television was watching the original series. Third season, back in 1969. I was there. I don't remember what I had for dinner last night. My wife, Vicky, of 20 years, will be more than happy to let you know that my memory is not very good, to say the least. But I do remember watching Star Trek back in the day. I know, but this video is pretty much about seeing how I come across on camera. So this is me, hi, talking. And it's also to take a look at the space. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn the camera around, we'll walk through it. It's going to be kind of tough for me to stay in the frame and shoot the place and everything. If I had somebody here to help me run the camera, it'd be a little bit different. So I'm going to turn the camera around, we'll walk through the space and everything. But don't worry, I'll be back after we get done walking around inside, and we'll chat a little bit more. Okay, let's go take a look. Okay, shall we begin? Now, when I say captain's quarters, I'm not kidding. Look, I got to sign in everything. All right, let's take a look. So here we are. Let's give you the quick panoramic shot here, starting from the doorway, slowly showing you the whole area. We'll get into details momentarily here. There you go. This takes you all the way around back to the door. So let's start over here. This is my Superman arcade game, which would look great in a bar, by the way. I actually have some memorabilia here from the movie Adventureland, which I really dug. So there's that. Although, of course, Mr. Spock is looking over the place, even as we speak. Now, when I get over to my lounge area here, right now I've got kind of a Disney theme going on. I've got my Incredibles phone, I've got my Haunted Mansion, and then when I get over here, I've got a little bit of J.J. Abrams lens flare. Here, let me come over here a little bit. I've got Pirates of the Caribbean memorabilia up there right now. And then we get around to the bar. Now, the bar is actually one of my favorite places here. Now, this is, I'm a big fan of mid-century, 50s, 60s kind of stuff. So I turned this 1940s television into a mini bar. I took the glass out of the front, put it up on the top. I've got all these beer coasters underneath. Utica Club, by the way. This is a local beer from central New York, where I grew up. So these are the suds I grew up with here. Here's Schultz and Dooley. They're the mascots for Utica Club beer. And of course, no bar would be complete without a Saurian brandy bottle, at least the captain's quarters anyway. And then we get down into here. And I know this has nothing to do with Star Trek, but it's cool and I like showing it off. So I'm going to show you. So I've got it all done up, all themed out, cool, and 60s on the inside. And yes, that's right. I've even got a working mirror ball inside, because you can't have a cheesy club without having a mirror ball in it, of course. And then down here where the speaker was, well, that's where you keep your wine, down there. Nice. You see, but this is where things start to fall apart, because I've got all this groovy stuff here, but then we get over here, and I've got my barware, but it's all on this junky old bookshelf, and it's just not cool. So that needs a little help. Over here, this is a dedication plaque for the Enterprise that I made over 20 years ago at this point. When I was working at the Hollywood Wax Museum, I redesigned the Star Trek set, and this is one of the additions that I made. I did a movie era version of the Star Trek set, and we updated the figures and everything. This sign was made before all sorts of cool computer stuff and 3D printing and everything. All these letters were all hand laid out by me. Then I took a mold off of it, poured it in resin. This was the first one. This is the prototype. But after I painted it all up and realized that it was going to work, I made another one, and the second one is hanging in the set. But this is mine here. And speaking of wax museums, let's take a look at these guys up here. Here's Leonard Nimoy and Patrick Stewart as Spock and Picard. These are done off of life masks as well. So I poured the wax and then sculpted the eyes and did the paint job and everything. One of my dreams is to get these guys on mannequins, in costumes, and on display. A lot of time went into making these guys. They need a little touch-up. They've been moved around a lot and everything. Oh, but check this out here. I even went so far as to cast my own hand and poured Mr. Spock's Vulcan hand salute in resin. So that way, when I do get around to putting this on a figure, I'll be able to have him greet everybody as they come into the space. And we come back over to this door here, and this is actually where the head is, if we're going to go with Star Trek terminology. Right now, though, we've got some Lone Ranger stuff in here. It's an original 1940s newspaper, Saturday or Sunday afternoon comic page. We also have stuff from Creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh, hi. Creature is my favorite Universal monster. And we do have a shower in here, but what I'm using the shower space for, seeing as they call this the library from time to time as well, this is where I keep my spinner comic book rack, of course. Then we head out of here, then we see the recording booth. Now, I built this booth in here because I host an 80s radio show called Soundwaves FM. What the 80s really sounded like is how I sell the show. And so what I did is this is 1x4 frame with acoustic foam inside and then covered in burlap to create the booth. I also produce and edit voiceover demos for people. So I'll have clients that will come over, and this is where they do their stuff. Now this is just 3 walls they're not actually attached to the back. These can come out of here pretty easy. I've actually got a closet back here. It's back in this corner here that has stuff in it, but it's stuff that I don't access very often. So I just kind of blocked it off. Then we come back over to the workstation here. Got a little bit more Disney stuff here. I've got my Stars and Stripes trunks from Rocky V. Yep, it's an actual movie costume there. Up here we've got Batman and Robin. These are pulls out of the original molds for some costume pieces from the film. We've got some videos over here. Naturally, we keep these handy. And then we finish off with our entertainment center, which right now consists of this slot machine and my beer fridge. That has, of course, some beer in it. Now, I'd really love a kegerator. That's my dream. I could die a happy man if I had a kegerator. So that's the basics in here. That gives you your once-over look at the place. And now we'll head back outside and we'll chat a little bit more. All right. Now, let's move back to the outside here. That's space number 1. Space number 2 is the garage, which is right attached. Now, the captain's quarters was actually built on the back of the garage a number of years ago. You see these 2 big doors on the side here. Now, I've got a regular garage door that's on the front, but these doors were added on the side. A previous tenant actually had a big boat that he would put on a trailer, and he would back it into the front door on the garage, and then kitty corner it through, come out through these doors, and then park over in the backyard here. So this space here is the space that I'd also like to possibly do something with. It's something that I've thought about doing before. I thought about knocking a door in the wall here to go into the space so I could have that additional space in there. Right now, it's just full of stuff. I mean, basically this ended up being our catch-all when we moved in here, and it's one of those out of sight, out of mind kind of things because we've never done a damn thing in here. And this might be a great opportunity for us to get organized and to have a little extra space. You see, our house is cozy. I won't go so far as to say small, but it's small. But I like to say cozy. We don't really have a lot of room. We've got our, fair-sized living room, and we've got a couch that we all cram onto with a TV and everything. If we could turn an area like this into a family room that I could use for my own personal adventures and stuff, but still have a room where the kids could come out. I've got 13-year-old twins, Lois and Christopher, a boy and a girl. They kind of need a little space to spread out with their friends and everything, and to have a cool place to show off to their friends, yeah, that wouldn't be so bad. So I'm going to open up the door. Now, before I do, though, you remember the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark? And they got the crate with the Ark of the Covenant in it, and they're pushing it into the warehouse. Kind of looks like that. I mean, obviously, if we end up doing something in this space, everything will come out. But that'll just force me to go through everything and get it all organized and everything. So let's open this up for just a second. Don't run away screaming. I don't when I have to go in here, so don't need to either. I get the blustery day down here. All right, so here's our garage space, full of boxes of stuff, and I have absolutely no problem getting in here. As a matter of fact, I'd really like to, and get this stuff all out of here. You know what? It was downright frigid out there. We've got this cold snap going on right now, so I decided to come inside and finish off here. I do want to once again say thanks for you guys taking the time to take a look at my submission here. If there's anything else you want to know, any other information you want, any other stuff that you want to see, now I've got a ton of Star Trek stuff in addition to the wax heads there and a couple little things. See, I've got ships, I've got toys, I've got the original costumes that I want to put on mannequins. I think if you took a look at the design that I sent, that's the kind of thing I'm thinking about doing, is actually getting this stuff in a museum kind of a setting. Very flexible on whatever you guys want to do. I would just like the opportunity. I mean, if I get a chance to say hi to Bill. And as far as the Property Brothers thing goes, well, my daughter found out that you guys were going to be working on the show. I can't remember the last time I saw her as excited. Christmas? No. Disneyland? Not really. But when she found out you guys were involved, she went nuts. So if we get a chance to work together, I think it'd be fun for everybody, and let's give it a shot if you are so inclined. I will be here. Thanks again for taking the time, and we'll talk to you soon. Oh, and live long and prosper.